Some of the best racing in the world happens at your local track. Welcome to the ROUSH Grassroots Series. What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Race 3 of the ROUSH Performance Grassroots iRacing Series right here on the official page of ROUSH Performance. Man, this eSports has absolutely taken off, and we are having such a blast. I can't even believe that, Joey, we can, and Trev, we could say that we've been doing this. Almost over, let's see here, when did we start? About mid-pandemic, I believe?
Yeah,
I don't even want to say that word.
I think our first event was actually April of 2020, so we're doing this 2+ years now.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's pretty crazy, and it's come such a far distance in the aspect of just the driver development of the drivers that we're seeing. I mean, we're seeing some of the best iRacing guys around, and you can absolutely see it in that race style. It's clean racing, it's fast racing, and it's a great place for even new drivers to come and hang out. So we got 20 drivers hanging out right here on the track today. This is we're going across the pond, Okayama Raceway. Joey, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, we are headed, like you said, over across the pond to Okayama International Circuit over in Okayama, Japan. This surface is actually relatively new. It was first opened in 1990, and guys, this was actually a private track for the wealthy for a long time, and then in the mid-90s finally opened up to some motorsports, and now it's a full-blown racetrack out here that you can go and learn how to race on, and that's what we're doing out here in the ROUSH Grassroots Series. That if you were over there in Japan and were starting racing, you'd be headed to Okayama International Circuit.
Heck yeah. Well, and also if you are just now starting out watching us, you probably don't know who we are, but if you're a return, thank you so much for coming back. But just a quick intro for everyone that's hanging out in the booth. We got Jack Rouse Jr. hanging out with us, Joey Atterbury, and Trev, what we call McQuattro, because I'm also Trevor. Trev, why don't you tell us a little bit of background of you in motorsports and racing?
Well, I've done just about everything but drive the trucks to the racetrack and the race cars on the track. But these days, I'm primarily a race strategist in IMSA and a spotter in IMSA as well, but other places. Not just a one-trick pony, this guy.
Don't be so modest over there, T-Bones. He just brought home a third-place trophy calling strategy TCR IMSA this past weekend at Mid-Ohio.
Man, that is big.
It's true. We had a bigger one at Laguna, but we'll digress and not dig into that can of worms just yet.
Yeah, well, thankfully you get to be race control over here in the eSports world and get to put these drivers straight out there how we see fit.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have to go that route. You know, one of the big things with the ROUSH series across all of the different disciplines and series that we've done over the last 2 years, they've been reasonably clean, and we haven't had to get on too many guys' case and throw down the hammer, as they say. But yeah, it's one of the great things about doing the series is watching all these guys really race respectfully and cleanly.
Couldn't agree with you more, T-Bones, as actually qualifying is starting to wrap up here. Looks like we got just over a minute left. And currently, out front is Andrew Pilata leading with a 140.5. Kyle Herbst, the previous 2 race winners here in the Grassroots Series, following him less than 2 tenths behind in second place there. And then, guys, we got Paul Darling, previous ROUSH eSports champion in the World Tour Series, rounding out third place right now in qualifying.
Heck yeah. No, this is definitely going to be a solid race. Jack, Okayama over here, it doesn't look terribly technical, which I guess is why it's a grassroots style track. Jack, if we were to jump stateside, which grassroots track would you say would be, I guess, most similar or best for just starting out driving? All right, we'll jump back. Is Jack, you there?
I think Jack might have some microphone. I think it looks like he's on mute right now, but I know that he was just logging on, getting everything sorted out here, and I think he might just need another minute or two, Trevor.
All right. Well, yeah, no, pushing that question over to you, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of grassroots-style racetracks, especially locally. You know, we're used to these big Daytonas and Indianapolis, Watkins Glen, what we see on TV, but really, you know, if you're in Mid-Atlantic Virginia, there's Summit Point. You know, you go over here to the West Coast, if you're out on the Northwest where I'm at, there's Portland International Raceway or Pacific Raceways. You know, there's lots of different local tracks that aren't necessarily what we see on TV, and every single weekend they produce some of the best rivalry and greatest racing out there.
Heck yeah. All right, well, guys, there's one thing that we probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for our partners. And let me just tell you guys, I genuinely think this. We have the best partners in the industry on both ROUSH Performance in general, and then the partners that have come through from that side into the actual partnership side of the ROUSH Performance esports world. So big shout out to these guys. We're going to take a quick break to check them out.
Relying on racing stripes to boost your car's performance? That's not confidence. Sporting the mother of all mega spoilers? That's definitely not confidence. Relying on Castrol Edge to unlock maximum performance? Now that's confidence. It's 3 times stronger than the leading full synthetic, with 10 times better high temperature performance. It's confidence in a bottle. Castrol Edge. Maximum performance. Maximum confidence.
All right, back to the action as it looks like the guys are getting ready to grid here. Thank you so much to our partners, Skip Barber Racing School, Continental Tire, Haggerty Motorsport Reg, and Castrol. You guys have been absolutely awesome, and we thank you for all the continued support. And we're getting ready to kick off Race 3 of the ROUSH Performance Grassroots iRacing Series. And Joey, why don't you take us down the Continental Tire starting grid?
Yeah, definitely. Looks like we got qualifying all wrapped up, and pole sitter Paul Darling is going to lead this field to the green, followed by Andrew Pelota in P2. Kyle Herbst and Brandon Hawken rounding out the second row, followed by Cameron Bidwell and Justin Kirby. Got a strong PG-13 racing team showing there. Colin Arnold and Trenton McMillian. Then we're followed by Max Bowman and Nick Ebby rounding out the top 10.
We go back to Sean Fritz, P11. Donald Binkley, P12, Murphy Nichols, Jeremy Ross, Chris Wolfson, Michael Della Sala, William Conover, Jeffrey McConey, Ichi Campos, and my man Jim Johnson rounding out the last 10 of our 20-car field here.
Give a big shout out to Jim Johnson back there. I know that he's been super excited about this event. I've spent some time with him here in the last couple days, but if you guys are comfortable singing in the car, this guy does a little bit more than singing in the car. I'm pretty sure that he's got a Grammy to his name.
Grammy? Come on now.
I'm not even playing.
I think let's start flexing on the names a little bit. Who's he been involved with to pick up a Grammy? You got to be somebody.
I think he got the Grammy for Best Rap Song for Lil Wayne, Lollipop, but he has worked with several people. Beyonce, Usher, Lil Wayne, Eminem, Nelly, T.I., Jamie Foxx. You know, the list goes on and on and on. The names that this guy has worked with is pretty remarkable.
That is pretty cool. Well, I don't know. Will his paint scheme reflect it? Does he have like Lil Wayne plastered across his hood?
I think he's running one of our ROUSH paint schemes that is supporting all of our sponsors and partners out there. So thank you, Jim, for coming out and helping us out.
Heck yeah.
Might not have the paint scheme, but if you look at his car number real close, has a very, very historical significance, especially to the hip-hop community. The early goings back in the 80s and 90s. The 808 machine was revolutionary, and that's his car number, which is quite cool, I think.
808, huh?
The 808 drum machine, man.
That's awesome.
Well, looks like this grid timer is finally running out. These guys are not going to do a whole pace lap here at Okayama, so they sat on the grid a little bit longer than usual. But pace cars should be rolling now. These guys are going to come around probably about 3 turns here and then take the green flag for us on the front straight.
All right, so Joey, why don't you walk us through how many laps are we looking at tonight? And I guess time-wise, when are we going to wrap up and see a winner? And then also I got the best news about Skip Barber Racing for the viewers and the drivers.
Yeah, we're looking at a 30-minute race tonight, so that lap is really going to depend on how fast these guys are going out front. With Paul Darling, really, I mean, this entire top 10, I figure we'll probably be doing somewhere in the 15 to 20 lap range, maybe 17 or so, but we'll see as the pace car pulls off here into pit road. Now, these guys have to keep a nice 2x2 start all the way until the green flag is dropped by iRacing.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Had a little bit of computer problems tonight.
No problem, Jack. Glad to have you in.
It looks like we officially have the green flag here at Okayama International Circuit for the ROUSH Grassroots Series race number 3. Paul Darling there taking the clean turn 1, as it looks like we do have a little bit of a spinner in the back of the pack there, but this front 10, wow, look at this, guys, packed side by side, bumper to bumper. Great action.
Yeah, this feels like old times seeing Paul Darling up front.
Oh yeah. He used to be a frequent flyer up in that P1 position, wasn't he?
Yep.
Paul Darling, one of our previous ROUSH eSports champions at the World Tour Series, leading the way down the back straight for the first time, followed by Andrew Pelota, but a very intense race for 3rd place right there, as it looks like it's Brandon Hawk and Cameron Bidwell and Kyle Herbst battling it out for that last spot of the top of the podium.
That's right. I mean, Paul Darling might be enjoying that first class seat because of his frequent flyer status now, but I think those 3 guys that started with him on the first 2 rows are going to have something to say about that. They might bump him back down to coach.
I love it. You know, it's true. He is used to flying high out front, and he might be getting that stewardess call. He might have to hit that button and say, you know what, can you come make sure I'm safe up here?
Oh man, guys, you know, I'm thinking this is the man that brought on his own food. He's not gonna have to eat the crappy peanuts. He's coming on with a sirloin steak, and he's gonna lead up front, and he's gonna sit in first class the whole time. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, a little bit of a wreck here.
Yeah, as it looks like one of those cars a little bit further back there. Looks like Colin Arnold lost it coming on the last turn. Shout out to Colin. He's actually the son of one of our ROUSH mechanics from the race team, but we do have a fast repair here in this series. Colin knows that he can go back into the pits, get a quick tow, get a brand new car, and go back out there and do more laps.
If we head back up to the front, Andrew Pelota, he's moving that curtain, man. He wants that first class seat from Paul Darling. He's got a good run on this back straight here.
You're right. I think
Quarter.
he was smelling that steak that Trevor was talking about that he brought onto the airplane and said, hey, you know what? Give me some of that.
Yeah, but Paul's a champion in our series, man. He's not going to just hand that thing over. Wants to take a bite out of it first, and he likes that cushy seat with the extra legroom.
You're right, he does look pretty comfortable up there as they both gave each other some nice racing room around these tight technical turns. Now guys, we're coming up into the section. This is all second gear through here, so this is really just feeling the mechanical grip of the car and what you can and can't get out of it. We'll see a lot of cars probably get loose on exit as this tire run wears on, as looks like we got our third place runner there off into the grass just a little bit. Cost him a little bit of time as Paul Darling leads around the last turn. That is what it's called, guys, the last turn, and out onto the front straight to complete another lap.
I think this is really good, Ben, because the top two battling are allowing Kyle Herbst, Brandon Hawken, and Cameron Bidwell to get their nose in there and get a whiff of that steak. But I think we need to give a shout out to Justin Kirby. He's our hanger on here, man. He is definitely in striking distance. Didn't quite have the pace in qualifying, but any mistake by the guys in front of him, and he's there to capitalize. Might get it to economy plus here in an lap or two.
I think you're right. And Justin Kirby is part of that PG-13 racing team that has his teammate directly in front of him, Cameron Bidwell. So we might see a little bit of team tactics. Maybe these two might be able to work together, hang on to the back of that draft of the lead pack, what you were saying, and maybe PG-13 come up and take the fight to the front too.
It's absolutely true. I mean, it's one thing to be good and be out there on your own. It's another to be good and have a teammate you can work with and help you punch a hole through the air, draft off each other, and work together, knowing you're trying to drive each other up to the front instead of just trying to hold your position.
And let me tell you, these PG-13 guys get a good amount of seat time in. They're running an IndyCar league over there that some of us race in, and it's a lot of fun. So they are very familiar with the simulator and putting laps in. And I wouldn't count these guys out one bit. You see Cameron Bidwell there in 5th place. I think he's just hanging out, you know, just biding his time, seeing if these guys are going to get a little bit of rough, because if they do, he's just going to slip right on by.
I gotta say, guys, I'm pretty impressed with how tight this front group is. You know, a few laps into the race like this. Normally, man, I can't remember the number of times I've seen Paul just run out and stretch the lead, you know, on through the end of the race. But man, this is going to be exciting to the end.
Does it remind you of what you would go see at your local track on the weekend, Jack?
I seem to remember some races myself, kind of like this.
Just bumper to bumper, good rivalries, good clean racing, as it looks like, once again, Andrew Pilata gets that run right out of that turn there every single time on Paul Darling, and Paul actually feels the heat a little bit, moves over to defend, say, hey, you know what? I ain't giving up this first class seat like that.
No, he's not. And he's racing clean, he's doing the smart thing here, but it's allowing all of the other cars behind him to catch up. Now we're within 1 second of the top 4 and 2 seconds than the top 5. And it's going to get really dicey here. There's going to be a lot more heat on Paul's hiney, more than just one car if he keeps this up. He's really going to start driving away.
Man, these guys at the fronters are driving really well. You know, I think the differences in speed that we're seeing here between the cars, you know, there's probably some driver, but also setup. I mean, these are open setups, and, you know, who knows how much these guys have spent developing the setup for this race.
You know, and I want to give a shout out to these top 5: Paul Darling, Andrew Pilata, Kyle Herbst, Brandon Hawken, Cameron Bidwell. All of these guys are running nose to tail, not bumping, not hitting each other, racing very respectfully, and this is the exact type of racing that we want to see out here in these ROUSH eSports events. So thank you, boys, for putting on a great show, and can't wait to see how this thing's going to wind up, as it looks like Andrew Pilota is still putting that pressure on Paul Darling. We'll see if he gets that superior exit like he has been the last 4 or 5 laps here. Sure enough, there he is, right on the bumper.
there's a certain kind of chivalry with racing where I don't know how you feel, Joey, but I don't like to race people dirty. If they, show that lack of respect, I will race them harder than I would normally. But I like to race people exactly like these guys are here. It's great sportsmanship, really fantastic driving. I can't say enough about these guys.
And I think as the laps settle in, really, guys, this battle for third place, it looks like Brandon Hawken is getting a little tired of sitting behind Kyle Herbst. He was making the move for third place, getting it done pretty cleanly. It looks like he's going to clear Brandon Hawken and Kyle Herbst there as we have a new third place runner. Slight change of position.
And this could mean very bad things for the top two, because if Brandon's got that extra pace that Kyle didn't, can pull these guys up and really get on their bumper and make it a 3 or 4-way battle for the lead. I think too we need to go back a little further in the field, back to 13th. We've got some regulars here in a nice little battle. William Conover, Campos, and Chris Wolfson had a nice little tidy fight the last few laps. Looks like Conover's pulled a few car links out, but Peachy and Chris are right there on each other, and not far behind them is our friend Jim Johnson catching them up. So we got battles all over the track from the top to the bottom here.
Yeah, I mentioned Colin Arnold earlier with one of our race team members, and Peachy Campos is actually another race team member. He helped out one of our buddies, Rolly Fulgaris, and the old Grand Am Boss 302 days. As it looks like we still are looking good out front, this battle now has progressed even further. It looks like this third place is not giving up. Captain Crunch wants it back. He says, you know what? What's first class taste like up there? I kind of want some of that.
It's crunchy and delicious with a side of Mountain Dew. Kyle Herbst knows what it tastes like, and he wants it back.
Well, and you got to remember, guys, Kyle Herbst, even though he did get past last lap, gave up that third position. This guy is the previous 2 race winner here in the Grassroots Series, so he knows how to get by everybody here on track and take home that checkered flag. Don't count him out yet.
That's right, he's biding his time, man. If you watch the onboard here, Brandon Hawkins had a couple of rear lockups. He's dropping rear wheels entering the straightaway here, so I think there's some mistakes to be made and some advantages to be taken out of these mistakes.
Yeah, well, what's interesting about these cars in the simulator, not necessarily in real life, but in the simulator, they do have a lot of rear wheel lift, which can cause some rear lockup issues going into the corners, which interesting feeling in the sim, T-Bones. I can't say that I've really felt that in a car that's not a front-wheel drive car.
Right, and it's, unusual and unexpected rear lockups are definitely unsettling and something you don't want in real life or a simulator.
As it looks like Andrew Pelota has the inside line on Paul Darling this time. This might be a change for the lead, as it looks like we got threshold braking side by side. They're both being respectful. Paul D, given the room on the inside, they're going to battle it through this second gear technical section. Still side by side. Uh-oh, boys, look out behind. All of a sudden, we got a 5-car train.
Man, that's some great driving by all these guys here. Great, good sportsmanship here.
Brandon Hawken is hungry for that extra leg room. He wants to get up there.
Yeah, Kevin, he wants Economy Plus.
I feel like this is going to turn into an airlines commercial.
Just roll with the punches, Jack. You just got to roll with the punches.
And fly the friendly skies. Man, this is a great battle. This is one of the best battles I think we've had in any of our ROUSH series the last 2 years.
Definitely, and I feel bad not hopping around a little bit more, but I know that this battle up front is our closest battle. It's not 1 car, it's not 2 cars, it's not 3 cars, it's not 4 cars. We got 5 cars battling for that top spot as Paul Darling is dipping wheels off on track exit, trying to hang on to it.
It's really good to see how this shakes out. I mean, we saw Pelota's got this corner nailed. He's getting the launch off. He's taking that defensive inside line early, so Paul can't. But you saw like last lap, you can have the inside here, but it puts you in a bad spot for the next couple of corners and gives that preferred line to Paul, and he just takes it right back. So the advantage here that he has entering this back straight is not really paying dividends for him. I think he's going to have to find another way around Paul if he's going to make it stick.
I think he's going to have to get a little bit more aggressive, but we're working lap 8 right now of 18 total. We're not even halfway through this race yet. If it was me sitting there in P2, and it seems like Andrew Pilota has a faster car, whether it's a faster car or he's got a better line, it seems like he has a little bit more speed. And he's almost toying with Paul Darling a little bit, saying, well, what if I put my car over here? What do you do when I do this? Okay, you do that. Oh, well, what if I put my car over here this lap? What do you do when I do that? You know, and he might just be making a notebook of how Paul is driving depending on where Andrew's putting his car.
And that would be some smart driving on his part. And I think it's going to take more than just raw speed to get around Paul Darling today.
I think you're right. You know, these guys have been very respectful this whole race, but I wouldn't be surprised if a fender, a bumper might get a little bit crinkled, because we do have a ROUSH Skip Barber Racing School on the line for the race winner tonight. And not only for the race winner, but we're also going to be giving away one to everybody out there. Well, not everybody, but to a single person out there watching tonight. And all you got to do is like, comment, share this broadcast, and we'll be picking a winner a little bit later.
Yeah, no, exactly, guys. Just as Joey said, we are giving away that Skip Barber Racing School voucher, and all you have to do is hang out to the very end of the race and make sure that you're like, commenting, and sharing, and we actually pick the winner at the end of the race. So not only are you going to see the first place driver take it home, but you're also going to have that opportunity to get out on the track with them as well. So like, comment, share, and until then, enjoy the race.
P5 Cameron Bidwell going full off-road trophy truck, but hanging on to it back there. We'll see if he can keep in tow with this front four.
It's been doing a good job so far, and I guess didn't get the memo that the off-road series was a few months ago. But just really nice, man. He's going to make this a 5-way battle before too long, especially with 9 laps left to go here. It's been nose to tail from the start. It's awesome stuff here.
I know that Cam, the old Tiger back there, does a lot of flight sim, so maybe it was just a little turbulence back there for him.
Could have been, and you expect rough air when you're behind 4 cars in line in a draft.
Definitely, but guys, I'm very impressed. Paul Darling still out front, pole sitter, led every lap so far, and it hasn't been easy. Andrew Pilota has gone side by side with him several laps. Andrew's had to fend off Brandon Hawken in 3rd place, as it looks like Brandon is actually getting a little bit closer, trying to take that fight maybe all the way up. But as you guys see, really, Andrew gets that great run out of that turn, better than everybody else on track. I think he is a step above everybody coming out of that exit.
He's definitely got that one figured out, but again, it's just not enough to pull around Paul Darling and cleanly pass him. I think for that move to work, he's got to clear Paul before that corner, or it's just not going to stick. Paul's too wily, he's too smart. And he showed it before. He's got the speed, race you clean, and he can make that inside line work through all these corners and take that position back.
It's weird. I don't know how you feel, Joey, but racing in the sim versus in person, when you have a lot of pressure on you, in a real car, it shows, I think, a lot of mental strength to not let someone right behind you make you, force you into mistakes. In a sim, I think it's even harder, because when you look back to see what that person's doing, you don't have the G-forces on your body to tell you what your car is doing. You have to use your eyes. I think it's even tougher in the sim.
The mental aspect in the sim is definitely more difficult than in real life. At least for me, I rely so much on feel, awareness, and what I'm doing out there on the racetrack and in this simulator, I don't have any of those aspects other than the sound that the simulator gives me. So it's a very different feel, and you're right, mentally, you have to have a lot more going on with what you're watching versus muscle memory and feel of the race car.
And I think that's a bigger shout out to Paul Darling for doing what he's doing and hanging on, because there's so many cars immediately behind him. Every time he checks his mirrors, seeing blue, gray, yellow, and an utterly horrifying Captain Crunch face everywhere he looks. And for him to just focus on the job and keep these guys at bay is pretty remarkable, given that, the sim is not real life. And I think, as you guys alluded to, when you use your eyes and your mental toughness a little bit more to compensate for that lack of G-force and lack of awareness that you get from your other senses it's remarkable. These guys are just hounding, and Paul has not shown one crack yet.
I actually want to give a shout out to our camera operator, Trevor Wright, for going to the exact camera that I was going to ask him to, because check out this battle. We've been talking about how close, how clean these guys have been racing this whole time. And this gives you a perfect example. Look at that neutral slide coming out of the turn. We're coming down the front straight here. We're going to be crossing to start lap 12. So these guys are about 2/3 of the way through the race, down into second gear, maybe third gear, to really roll the speed here through turn 1 as the battle gets closed up, as Andrew's really sniffing Paul Darling. Look, you can't even see Paul, as Paul's a little bit wider, takes a wide entry, really focuses on that exit to get down here to close off that passing opportunity from Andrew. But guys, this is that section of the track where Andrew just really closes up on exit on Paul, and we'll see what he does here. Once again, a little bit more narrow. Closed up on Paul Darling. T-Bones, you're right though, he's got to be closer. He's got to get up alongside him.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's getting that initial exit well, but if he's pinching that corner off too much, it's compromising the rest of his acceleration out of the corner, because he's no longer pulling up with Paul Darling and getting a nose in the corner. He's just staying behind and getting a little closer.
What's really interesting about that turn is that it's got camber and it's also uphill. So depending on where the car wants to go, you don't always necessarily have to let it track out all the way there. It's a very this track is a very interesting track with some of the turns. It's pretty neat to drive.
It reminds me, there's aspects of Barber Motorsports Park in Alabama, and it looks, also like part maybe Circuit de Catalunya in Spain. There's a couple little things going on here. It's a really neat track, I think.
Hey guys, I want to quickly hop over to, let's see here, looks like William Conover, Jeffrey McConey, Peachy Campos, Chris Wolfson. We've been watching the top 5 this whole time, but it looks like we got a battle of 4 cars back here for 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th place as well.
That's right. Conover's been dominating this little pack here, but McConey, Ichi, and Wolfson have been catching him up slowly but surely, and now it's turned into a 4-way battle.
That's quite an interesting scheme there. Looked like a little bit of paintball-esque, but got some Japanese-themed stuff. Perfect for Okayama over here, as nothing's changing up front, guys. Looks like the top 4 is still the same top 4, as William Conover is starting to escape a little bit. Looks like that's the 499 of Nick Ebby there, newcomer to the series. Shout out. Thank you for coming out and joining us here with the Grassroots League.
Oh, it looks like McConey's gone around there. I didn't see what happened, just the aftermath. That's going to open the door for Peach and Wolfson to take the fight to Conover here.
As you say that, Jeff McConey comes on the radio and says, I have no idea what happened, Typical driver, right?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, up front, still Paul Darling leading Andrew Pelota, followed by Brandon Hawken, Kyle Herbst, and Cameron Bidwell, rounding out your top 5 as they come around to complete lap 13 of 18. We got less than 5 laps left here, guys. The time is starting to run out. So, where are you going to start to pick and make your move?
Man, guys, I'm telling you, that steak is smelling mighty good. Because I'm hanging out here up front with old Paul Darling. I can just tell you.
I don't know. I think there's 5 laps to go. I think that steak is about to turn.
I think that we got some TSA pre-check back there that really wants to skip the line. Just go right up front.
Oh yeah, my TSA pre-check pick is going to be Kyle Herbst. I think he's just sitting back here and he's going to make a move here shortly. He knows how to win these races in these cars, and I think he's going to be our man.
Jack, who do you pick?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Paul's pretty solid. I think he's going to be really tough to beat, even if the guys behind him have more speed. Man, it's going to be really interesting to watch this. I got to say as well, I'm really excited about what I'm seeing in the back too, or further back. PG Campos is in 13th. He's actually, as you know, Joey, he's another member of our old race team. He was Rolly's crew chief, and of Rolly of Fajardo Ford out of Puerto Rico. And he's not a sim guy, but apparently he's becoming one because he's not further back in the field. He's showing some decent speed. I have not seen how Jim is doing, even though he's not all the way in the back. It looks like he's been moving up.
He is still out there. He is in P16 right now.
Nice.
Looks like he is. He's a lap down currently. But actually, no, he's just a little bit further back. But he's doing great out there. He's still surviving. And if we see, guys, not a mark on that car that I see. Jim has raced one clean race, and I'm proud of him.
That's awesome.
To see him and some other newcomers too get into this, because it's a hell of a show, and it's a great place for a lot of these guys just getting their feet wet to do just that and get some experience under their belts and race with some of these guys like Paul Darling and Andrew Pelota and Brandon Hawken, who are going for it up front, by the way.
Yes, they are.
That just got really interesting. Did you guys see that with Paul's little mishap?
Yes, we did, and they are still side by side for the lead. Paul Darling is not in a very good position, but if he can posture himself outside, he might be able to hang on the outside, get a good acceleration run. Although, guys, it looks like Brandon Hawken is smelling that first class. He says, "Give me that steak. I want a bite."
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. I would recommend buckling your safety belts for the next 3 laps, because this is going to be a great battle.
As we had 3 wide through turn 1, 2 wide here through turn 2. This battle ain't giving up, but guys, if they're not smart, Andrew's going to start to gap this field. This P2 needs to sort itself out, as Paul Darling, unfortunately, is once again on the losing side of this next turn. See if he can hang it out around the outside, or if he just has to tuck in line.
Yeah, speaking of captains, here comes Captain Crunch here. He's got a quarter on Paul, looking to take that 3rd place away from him.
Ooh, just barely clear. Paul's got the run. He's going to go take that inside back on P2. Cap and Crunch right on his bumper. We'll see if they're going to make it 3 wide. Only a few laps left here in the ROUSH Grassroots Series at Okayama.
Just took 4 different lines to this final corner, man. Everybody's everywhere. It's like Hawken was a little loose there on exit, slowed him down a bit.
You know, the fight is intense, but I still, in that front 5, I have not seen one little bit of contact. Still, I'm super impressed with these guys.
Absolutely, Jack. You nailed it. There was a pass for the lead. There was no contact. There was threats for 2nd place. No contact, as Paul Darling looks like a Formula Drift car out there, laying down some rubber and tire smoke. As it looks like Andrew's starting to skip away. Brandon Hawkins says, "Hey, bud, you gonna get going up here?"
All right, guys, we're looking at 3 laps to go, and you know what that means. You only have 3 more laps to like, comment, and share for your chance at winning that Skip Barber Racing School voucher. So all you got to do, like, comment, share, and let's watch the final 2 laps of this battle.
Yeah, 2 laps left, guys. The next time around will be the white flag as Andrew Pelota starting to gap out that win there. Paul Darling still hanging on to second place with a very hungry Brandon Hawkins sitting in Economy Plus, wants that first class seat.
He got used to the legroom, man. He smells it.
Guys, and I think we got a crying baby back there in P5 trying to make his way up. You know, they're always on the flight. They're always there. They're always somewhere. And he's just hanging out right back there in P5, waiting to make his way up.
Just like I could not predict the outcome of this race, I was not predicting all these flight references.
I don't know who started that, but you're fired.
I think that's the great thing about these Roush shows. You never know what you're going to get.
No, you don't.
Yeah. Paul Darling taking that page out of Cameron Bidwell Off-Road Pro Trophy Truck. 2 wheels off through the dirt back there, still hanging on to position number 2. Guys, we're starting to run out of time.
But also what's running out is the gap between Paul Darling and Andrew Pelota. It's coming down. I think Paul's making every effort to claw this thing back and give it one more run here on the final lap.
He has to, you know, Brandon's really been hounding him, which isn't improving his pace at all. He really needs to focus out that front windshield and go chase down that P1. As guys, we are on lap 18. This will be the final lap of the race.
It's going to be tough, though. Paul has lost the draft, and it's going to be tough to make that space back.
He's also gone 4 wide off the corner exit there. That's Brandon Hawkins going to see that with a smile on his face.
You know, I grew up as a Spec Miata racer. That line looked pretty normal to me.
That's fair, but these cars also don't sound like a swarm of bees going around the racetrack.
Touche. As guys, this is a big passing opportunity. They've been respectful all day. Brandon Hawkins, is he going to make a dive bomb for P2? Looks like he's going to stay right in line, maybe show a little bit of nose to Paul Darling. A little bit of tire smoke as they're hard on that ABS trying to get these 3,600-pound Mustangs stopped. Paul has been struggling through this section right here, and as we see, Brandon Hawkins is really on his bumper, but Paul gets through their nice, clean exit. Just got to keep it together for a couple more turns as Andrew Pelota, our race leader out front right now, is in a commanding lead with 3 turns left.
We got Brandon showing the nose here in the penultimate corner. That's exactly where Pelota got in and got around. But Paul responds perfectly. Brandon Hawkins loose into the final corner.
Guys,
hangs on to it.
Yes, he did. He did hang on to it. And Andrew Pelota coming to take home his first win in the ROUSH Grassroots Series, followed by Paul Darling and Brandon Hawkins rounding out that top 3. But if we want to jump back, looks like Nick Ebby is still finishing out here. Got a battle with Jeremy Roth following him, followed by Donald Binkley, as it looks like those 3 cars are pretty close together. Then, yeah, we got William Conover. Looks like we've got still a few more coming down the back straight there. Chris Wolfson, Michael De La Sala, Jeff McConey, as they're all trying to battle it out here on this last lap. Jim Johnson getting caught back up to that Jeff McConey car.
Attaboy.
New York, work that body. LA, work that body. Shout out to Jim Johnson, DJ Jealous J.
Man of many, many musical talents. And, you know, it's great to see this sort of progress from him and you know, all of our newcomers. You know, personal bests are a win for lots of people. To those getting their feet wet. So kudos to him for dropping those lap times consistently throughout this race. It was good to see. Glad to have him here with us at ROUSH.
All right, guys, there it is. The Hagerty Motorsport Reg result board. is up as these guys are still crossing the start finish here. What an awesome race of total 4-race series. This is the 3rd race. We have one more, and it's definitely going to get intense. But guess what, guys? I am going to the drawing board here. I'm going to see all who liked, comment, and shared this iRacing event, and you're going to have your chance at winning a Skip Barber Racing School voucher, and we're excited to give that one away. But also, Andrew Pelota is going to be taking away that Skip Barber Racing School voucher as well. So big win for those guys. Great racing out here. And Joey, I'm going to turn it over to you for some post-race interviews.
Yeah, I'm going to go try to find some of these guys here. So I know that we got some serious partners to thank during all of this as we start to wind down everywhere. And let's go over, give a big, huge shout out to those guys. I want to make sure we get everybody mentioned. Skip Barber Racing School, Continental Tire, Haggerty Motorsport Reg, Castrol, Roush Performance eSports, Jack Roush Jr., really, for letting us come out here and be hooligans and have fun and put on this great show for everybody.
I don't approve of that.
Yeah, no, it looks like, let me see if I can round up some of these guys while Trevor does his stuff and talk about a little bit about some of this race that happened.
As Joey goes there, it looks like we have a few cars right here on the start finish here, throwing down some donuts for us. So appreciate you guys putting on a good little show here.
Perfect.
Yeah, there you go.
I couldn't have done it better.
Across. We're gonna have to pay these guys extra for that. All right, guys. All right, and then we're going to our generator here.
All right, well, it looks like not all of these guys that were on the podium are here available for an interview, but I do have one person that was hanging out in that entire top 5 the whole time. It looks like Paul Darling hopped in finally, so I got a couple guys here that we can go ahead and drag over for some interviews. If we still have people like, commenting, and sharing this broadcast, I know that you're still compiling names over there, Trevor, so for everybody watching, hit that like button, hit that comment button. Gus, what we want to ask these drivers here in these interviews, do you guys want to know something specific, and see if we can generate some content over here for these wonderful sim racers that put on an amazing show for us tonight? Looks like we got Paul Darling, Andrew Pelota, and Cameron Bidwell joining us here. First of all, Andrew, congrats on the race win tonight. You were biding your time back there behind Paul Darling, but ultimately it was you that took home that checkered flag. Describe to us that race win.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, it was Paul had a lot of pace. He usually does. So I knew it was going to be pretty tough to get around him. So, you know, really my strategy was just, you know, like you said, just kind of bide my time and just kind of, you know, get as close to his back seat as I possibly can and just kind of hope he makes a mistake and try to take advantage of it.
Well, you did a great job at that. We commented several times during this entire race about it was an amazing, respectful race between that entire top 5, and you guys did a great job out there. I want to ask you, Andrew, it seemed like you were getting a better run out of what they call turn 4 onto the back straightaway. Were you doing anything different there? But because it seems like you were able to get a car length or so on Paul almost every lap.
I think the biggest thing from kind of watching Paul in front of me is I was really just trying to cut my distance down there. So I was really just trying to stay kind of as tight as possible going up the hill and just, you know, being able to cut off a couple extra feet. And then just, you know, try to get on the gas early was, you know, just enough to kind of help push me along. I noticed Paul kind of started to do the same thing kind of later on in the race, and I wasn't able to have the same advantage. But yeah, just cutting a few extra feet out there seemed to help.
Well, good call, and even better call to our spotter in the booth here, T-Bones. He was the one who called that move exactly how you just described that.
Nice. Awesome.
So, Andrew, congratulations on the race win. You will be taking home that ROUSH Skip Barber Racing School voucher, so congratulations on that. Is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Yeah, just, thanks again to my wife for letting me play around with fake race cars for a night. And, she's probably looking forward to me getting out of the house to go play around with some real Mustangs at some point in the future. So yeah, love her and looking forward to the next round.
Well, you'll definitely get to go play with some real Mustangs. Not only some real Mustangs, but the ROUSH Stage 3 750 horsepower Mustangs out at Skip Barber. So make sure you enjoy yourself with that.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yep. See you next time, Andrew.
All right, Joe.
We do have P2, P3 in here. Looks like Paul Darling still in here. And Paul, want to give a shout out to you. We're used to seeing you just simply run away in these events and dominate, but you had some serious competition behind you, and you were able to hold them off and race respectfully all race. And what was it that finally got Andrew by you?
Andrew's always got better pace than me in these cars somehow. He's really fast in these Mustangs. I need to run a picture-perfect race for every single lap, and I feel like for the most part I did, with one mistake in an entire 30 minutes, and that mistake is what cost me the lead. Just ended up running wide. Not sure what the turn numbers are on this track. Ended up running wide. One spot had to really lift out to save the car, and that gave him the run. We were actually side by side. I'm not sure how much you guys caught of that. We were side by side through like the last S's all the way down to turn 1 again.
Oh, we saw it all.
Yeah, you're going to want to go back and watch that broadcast, because we were focused on you guys up front, and you put on one heck of a show. Not even just one lap, but all race you guys were battling side by side, it seemed like.
Oh yeah, we were able to stay close. It happens when the guy behind can, he's got better pace. I was just trying to not open it up, but I did.
Oh, great job out there, Paul. Very impressive stuff.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Always a class act, Paul Darling. You're a previous ROUSH eSports champion in our previous series, and you're proving it out here that you haven't changed and you're still a front runner. And we're happy to have you out here, Paul. Is there anybody that you would like to say thank you and give a shout out to?
Just thanks to the top 4 there. So Andrew, Kyle, and Brandon. I've raced all of them, each in other leagues as well. It's always a fantastic time to race against when you respect each other and can give each other good space.
Awesome, Paul. Well, thank you for coming out, and hopefully we'll see you at the next one here in about a month.
Yeah, hope so. Thank you, guys.
And it looks like we got our final podium finisher, Brandon Hawken, rounding out P3 for us here in round number 3. You had a windshield full of Mustangs all race long, and it seems like you were poking your nose around there for that second, maybe top spot a couple times, but just couldn't quite get around those cars. What was it going to take for you to get up to that top spot?
Hey guys, man, that was really tough. I think at Okayama, probably the best way to make a move is the car ahead making a mistake, and it's just so hard to pass there. And I tried my best. Had a windshield full of Mustangs, as you said. I was thinking about points. I was seeing if I could get at least P2 to try and get the points gap back down, but couldn't quite do it. But man, that was a really great battle there with Paul, Kyle, and Andrew. And it was really tough. And this guy's got a ton of speed. And that was just like the entire race. We were just 100% like flat out. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, you're always a front runner here at this ROUSH Grassroots Series. You always race respectfully, and it continued here at race number 3. So we're happy to have you out here, and gonna see you at race number 4, I take it. Yeah, if you're talking about points.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're going for the championship. We'll see if it works out. But that's the main focus right now. Just gonna we have a tight points battle. So we'll see how that goes. And man, man, it's been a great time racing with everybody so far, and man, it's come to a close pretty quickly, even with the gap between rounds. So, just one more to go. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's great to hear that you're having fun out here with us, and hopefully it continues into the last race. Is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to, say thank you to?
Oh yeah, I'd just like to shout out to everybody at SRC Movano Corsa, all the series sponsors, you guys at Roush for putting this on. This has been an absolute blast, and like Paul said, all the top four there. That was so much fun to race with those guys, and hopefully we have another one like that next round.
Awesome, Brandon. Well, thank you for coming out, and we'll see you next round.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brandon.
All right, guys. The moment of truth. As I was actually going through, able to get pick out our winner here of the Skip Barber Racing School racing voucher. But I was also going through the comments, and man, you guys I think are the greatest as well. I mean, we have great drivers putting out a really solid race, putting on a great show, but then just you guys supporting these drivers. And then now I'm also seeing everyone here kind of like, I see someone talking about, I know what I need to invest in now. Brian, I see you there talking about possibly getting into the iRacing side. It's pretty cool. And the best part about it, guys, is you could literally be racing with us at the next race, which is that June 15th at, Oran Park Raceway, I believe, on June 15th.
Yeah, well, guys, there's actually a pretty surprise there. There's a track change to the brand new Winton Speedway in Australia there. So that's where we're going to be racing round number 4. That's a big announcement of a track change going to that brand new scan of Winton Speedway.
That's right, and that's going to be that June 15th race, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Roush Performance eSports page. I got Alex on there. They even let me race. Alex, we will always let you race. You are such a great competitor. But the moment of truth, guys, we appreciate everyone tuning in with us. Don't forget to go follow us on our Instagram, at Roush Performance. We are on twitch.tv, which is at Roush Performance as well. Our YouTube, at Roush Performance. And then, of course, on our Facebook page, we have our at Roush Performance and our Roush at Roush eSports. So go give us a follow. Thank you guys so much for watching. And let's pick the Skip Barber Racing School voucher. Winner is... Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I lost the name. Hold on. I gotta go back up here.
Classic.
Wow,
Trevor
classic.
Wright. Reading Rainbow over
Here we go. Matt Brailsford. Matt Brailsford, are you in the house? Let's see if you can claim this here in the comments. Matt Brailsford. Oh, he actually just asked a few minutes ago on what is the 4th race. There he is. Matt Brailsford, are you in the house? Let's give Matt some thumbs up here. Throw him some congrats. We might just end up giving away more here, huh? Jack's like,
Yeah, right. Yeah, make sure the boss hops off before you're starting to give away the treasure chest.
We might have to do something for the last race, guys. Congrats, Matt. Are you on? Jeff McConey, I'll take it instead.
Right, I know that Jeff was just in the sim with us. He's been trying to desperately win one of these vouchers. He wants to get behind the wheel of one of these 750 horsepower Mustangs. But Jeff, I think you need to get that top spot there because unfortunately your name was not called tonight for that viewership broadcast prize.
Man, I hope Matt, there he is. I'm here. Awesome. Well, congratulations, Matt. You are taking home that Skip Barber Racing School voucher. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out with us tonight for the 3rd race of the 4-race series, the ROUSH Performance Grassroots Series, right here on the ROUSH Performance eSports page. We thank you guys. Hope everyone has a great night, and we will see you next time, June 15th, right here on the eSports page, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you guys later.